of you here. How have you been? How have you been? Yes, just a minute. Good morning. You can share a good morning on the chat. As I try to get a good view so that you can be able to see me nicely. I think that's what's better. If this is your first time, you can tell me a yes on the chat also. And you can share the link to a friend. Kindly share the link to a friend. Good morning. I can see good mornings. Yes. If this is your first time on my chat, just say a yes. Let me see the yeses. First time, yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're having so many yeses. Karibuni sana. If you never heard about us, I'll tell you who we are, and I would request also that you be able to look on our social media handles so that anytime we have this webinar, you're always here or you just come and learn. So karibuni sana. Final question before we start off. Where are you watching this webinar from? Where is your location? Where are you? Let me see on the chat. Where are you? So where are you? Nanyuki, Joanne, thank you. So fast to do that. Upper Hill, Nairobi, Kilimani, karibuni sana. Meru, karibuni sana. Industrial area, Nairobi, Embakasi, karibuni sana. My co-host, you can share the link or the meeting code on the chat. Someone can be able to share to a friend so that they can come over and learn. Just share to a friend, tell them we are on and we are talking about tax trends. Westlands, Rimuru, Cargo Center Charity. Oh, karibu sana. JKA, I hope kumetulia huko. Karibuni sana. Karibuni sana. So just share to a friend so that they can be able to join in and we can be able to move together. I'm so happy to see all of you here. We always have this training and we always have the trainings on taxation. I've also remembered that I needed to share it to somebody who had requested. So a minute, I also share. You can share and let everybody be able to join in and learn. Okay. So today we have a very interesting topic. It's about the tax trends. We always have this on a monthly basis where we tell you about what are the new tax trends. What is new? Tax is always it's always revolving. There are so many things that are always happening. So this is a place where we discuss. And also you're able to position yourself, position your business, and you're not caught unawares of the things that are happening. So this is when we discuss this. So I will dive in to the conversation. And as I tell you, you can also go ask a question. You can ask a question on the chat. Somebody will be answering those questions. And I'll also get the time to actually look at them and answer them. So that is the essence of this tax trends that you're talking about. I hope you can see my notes. So if you can see the notes, you can also tell me a yes. If you can see my notes. And if you want me to share these notes with you, if you want me to share the notes with you, kindly, there's a registration line, there's a registration link on the chat. You have to fill in the registration link. If you don't fill in, I will not share you the notes. So you have to register there so that we can share the notes to you. So karibuni sana. So I'll talk about a few things. I'll talk about Social Health Authority, SHA. And we have in the chief, we have the NHIF, then I've really talked about SHIF, then now we have SHA, now the Social Health Authority. I'll talk about it just a bit for you to be able to understand. I'll talk about the amendment of Tax Procedures Bill 2024, the TPA. It has a few amendments. Migration of legacy debt to iTax is still something hot. So I'll talk about the debates that are there that you should be able to understand. I'll talk about ITIMs, KRA tax audits. I know for sure if I ask how many people have received an audit letter right now, I think majority of people have received a letter of audit. So what is happening? This is since August, yes, and September. Now we're in October. So many letters of audit are out there. I'll talk about it. And any other tax trends, I'll talk about a few. And let's dive in. So if you have a question, just go to the chat and ask. So what is the Social Health Authority? We call it SHA. So this was officially launched October. Today is 11th, so we are about 10 days away. As part of the government initiative to transition the NHIF. So this is the governing body when it comes to the social health. The registration commences on 1st July. So if you're not registered, I will also tell you the process of registration. You can also be able to do that. The employees and employers are requested to start making contribution to SHIF beginning October 1st. So I don't know if we were able to do them on 9th. If you did them on 9th, then this should have applied. Every Kenyan citizen, including your dependents, must register with SHA as a mandate. So this is why you have to, and the good side, they have made it online, so you can register. You don't have to go there. You have to register with all your dependents, everything. There's a somewhere we went on Wednesday, and we had the SHA. They were coming to explain, and they were even saying if your spouse is doing it for you, they have to give you their password. So you can also get to the nitty-gritties of it. They are really explaining what the difference is. So you can also listen and see when they're explaining what is the difference and how it should flow. The employers must ensure all employees are registered on time of using SHA employer portal. So for you as an employer, this is one of the mandate for you. So by the time you're telling your team, you're paying for them, all of them, you can even register them in the office and make sure that everybody is registered on SHA. Then you start the contribution. Payment made before 9th October, that was last week, no, this week, will be credited to NHIF, while payment on November 9th will go to SHA. So that is November 9th. and then it will start with the progress. So how is the contribution? The contribution is 2.75 of gross salary. 2.75, and this one doesn't have a capping. The other NHIF had, when we reach 1,700, that was the highest amount contributed, but this one is 2.75. I'll show you the calculations. Non-salaried personnel, persons can contribute 2.75 of their household income. Remember, the non-salaried last time we were doing 500 shillings, but now it's at 300, but they have to also consider their household income. So when I had on Wednesday that also NHIF will not just accept the SHA, will not just accept the 300 because you're not salaried. They can also be able to check how much how much is your income, so that they can tell you this is the much money you're supposed to contribute. So if you're not salaried, it doesn't mean that you have to do the 300. I don't know how they will conduct that audit. But for now, that's what they said. But you can pay the 300 as a minimum contribution. Contribution must be paid by 9th day the following month. And then there are penalties of 2% of unpaid contribution. And there is a failure to contribute. This was so high, 2 million, or imprisonment. So I guess when they'll be coming round, if they find that you're not paying, I think the penalty is too high. False statements, similar penalties apply to false claims to other benefits. So previously we've had issues where NHIF was claimed the person was not sick, or so many, even in the hospital level. So they have also put a lot of caution for false statement and so many other parts. So how is the contribution different from NHIF? So for instance, if you're earning 20,000, NHIF you are paying 750, but SHIF you'll be paying 550. So you can see the differences. So for the people who are low income earners, the SHIF is much cheaper than the NHIF, but for the higher income earners is more expensive. So at around 100,000, NHIF was at 1,700, which was the maximum contribution. But now the 2.75 application gives it at 2,750. So you can imagine somebody who is being paid $1 million, they'll be paying 27,500. So for all the higher income earners, they're actually going to pay a lot of money on this. So, and it doesn't mean because you're paying a lot of money, you're also getting different services than the rest. The services are similar. So that is the difference. So you can onboard, if you're having people within the office that you've been paying them, they are 30,000, 40,000, just onboard them on the new rates. Somehow, some of them will get a benefit because it's going to be lower. And also go through the registration so that come November, come December, they'll be able to enjoy the new services that they provide. Of course, I'll share the new, what they are saying, that will be the new benefits. So how do you register? Is a USSD registration, and I know some of you have been receiving this message, *147# on your mobile device, accept, enter your ID, confirm. So it's a very simple registration method. Remember previously for NHIF, if you employed a staff, you had to tell them, go to NHIF office and get your number before we onboard you as an employee. So this one, you can be able to do it online. There's also the online registration through their website, and you can be able to do that. You can also get assistance at Huduma centers. So if the person that you're doing, they are not really able, especially for even people who are not employed, you can be able to do this at Huduma Center. So what is the difference between the two? And I believe the difference should be on benefits. So it is SHA, they are telling us it has a broader range, including preventive, promotive, palliative care. So care when it comes to mental health, cancer treatment, renal, so all that. And then they also say that it's going to be, let me share that. So no payment required. So expanded services, including dental care, chronic diseases, screening. They also the difference of the flat rate. I've talked about that, 2.75% gross salary with no upper capping. Increased government funding alongside member contributions. So the government will be able to fund it so that they can be able to give these services. No payment requirement for outpatient services. Members can access primary health, emergency care upon registration. So you find most of the time in HIF covers when you have inpatient where you go to the hospital, you spend a day or two, possibly it covers for the bed and doctor, but this one can also cover outpatient. This is where you go, that 1,000 that you've been requested to be deducted from from SHA. So you can go to hospital without paying anything and get treatment. Limited or to existing services introduces a new services like screening for common health conditions, preventive treatment, and assistive devices for disability. So it has a lot of benefits. So let's see. For me, because this is a conversation that you have started about SHA and how it's going to function. I'll always tell you. So because November is next month, we have December, we have January. We'll come back here and rate them and see. And you're also going to tell me if you're getting these services that they are telling us here. So the good side with such an initiative is that Kenyans are very they're out there to look at these services and to be able to see if they are being served. Remember, this is money that is coming from your pocket. So we're going to evaluate and see if it is going to function much, much better. This SHA is having so many issues, so many litigation for it to stop and so many things. So sometimes because this is a conversation we've had the whole year, sometimes even now that is going to start, you don't know what will come in, possibly a litigation, possibly stopping it altogether. So we'll keep you posted on any processes that is happening. But at the moment, the registration is going on. By November next month, it should be running. And these services, we should be able to see them. Remember also, we got a clue that the system, some of these things you don't know if it is political. The system that is being used at SHA is worth 104 billion. So we also, because it's also that poses a lot of cost and a lot of litigation also issues on that expenditure. So we'll keep you posted to just see how it runs. But at the moment, register and be able to enjoy their services. So much on that. Let me talk about the amendment on the TPA. This is the Tax Procedures Act. The Tax Procedures Act is able to give guidelines on how taxes should be done. The processes is a procedural act. And it also goes through amendment the same way we amend the VAT Act. And we amend it through the finance bill. So when the finance bill goes through, there are changes when it comes to VAT, when it comes to income tax, but also there are changes when it comes to the TPA Act. So these are some of the amendments that were proposed in the Finance Bill 2024 that did not go through. And the amendments are now taken to Parliament to see because they were positive, can they be amended? So one of it was the restatement of the tax amnesty. Remember, the tax amnesty was introduced last year that was covering the penalties and interests, the amnesty of penalties and interest until December 2022. And the final period was June 30th, 2024. So that is about a few months ago. But there were people that were unable to enjoy the amnesty because you had to pay the principal amount so that you can enjoy the penalty, the amnesty of penalties and interest. So some of you, the principal amounts were so high and your budget could not allow for you to clear the principal amount. So they want to reinstate it back so that people can continue enjoying. So the reinstatement is until that year, the 2025, but it's still in progress. So the parliament has gone through a lot of issues, you know, the issues that are happening in the country. So most of the time you find that such bills that were supposed to be conducted and discussed, they're not discussed on time. So we're still hoping that this goes through. Of course, I'm going to tell you, because this is also a big win for people who are not able to enjoy the amnesty. So my advice could be, if you're having penalties and interest for past years, from all the years until December 2022, you can pay for principal amounts and the penalties and interest to just remain on the system. When this goes through, you can go ahead and apply for the tax amnesty. So computation of time regarding lodging of objections and appeals. So we remember that the objection and appeal, the objections have time limits. So for you to lodge an objection should be within 30 days. And they wanted to include Saturdays and Sundays or public holiday. Like, for instance, this month of October, we are having 2 public holidays already. So they wanted to do deductions of those. So this one is still pending. However, for me, my thinking is that the 30 days that you're given, 14 days possibly for the rest, sometimes those days are just enough, because most of the time when you're doing the objection and the appeal, these cases, you have always been with them. So you've interacted. So when it comes to objective, you have all the information. You can actually be able to prepare an objection within 2-3 days when you have the right tax advisor with you. And we do this for our clients. We do the objection process, the tribunal, ADR, we do all those appeals. So if you're having also a challenge on this, we can be able to help you. Introduction of the section 37F. The bill introduces a new section 37F, granting relief in situation where there is a doubt or difficulty in recovering taxes. So this is the circumstances for abandonment of tax recovery. So at what time can KRA say we try to recover these taxes without and we finalized we can't be able to collect? So they wanted to put a few clauses. It may be impossible to recover unpaid tax. There is difficulty in expense of recovery. The bill may be abandoned upon determination that. So mostly at this point, when there is a tax demand that is being raised, remember, by the time they are raising a tax demand, there is a procedure that has been followed. Procedure number 1 is that you've been audited, you've been called for the audit process, the findings have been found, the assessment has been done on iTax. Possibly you've done an objection, you've gone through the objection process. By the time KRA starts to demand the money, there's a process that has been followed. Vis-a-vis, they can also demand money if you've done self-assessment and you've not paid that money on the system. So they can also do a demand. The moment they do a demand for your taxes, that is a demand letter. They'll give you 7 days, 14 days. They'll give you mostly a month for you to respond. Of course, KRA will be calling you to tell you we sent this, we're expecting a payment. You can do a payment plan. at that particular point. But if you don't do that, you can, they will go ahead and issue an agency notice to your bank. So closing your bank account. So the moment you get a demand, and I'll show you how a demand looks. I'll show you, we were able to, I'll show you next. Let me just show you right now before I forget how a demand looks like. So this is a demand notice. So they will say their demand notice for tax arrears, 1 million plus, depending on how these are monies that are on your iTax ledger. So this is money that is in the iTax ledger. They'll give you they'll give you the details right there. Please review and arrange for payment immediately within 7 days from the date of this letter. So that is indicated there. So for you, within those 7 days, you should respond. Respond with a, if you don't have this money, respond with a payment plan. Say, I acknowledge this letter, but I don't have the cash flow. We're having this and this. This is how I would wish to pay. Most of the time is 6 months. They'll give you 6 months. If you're having so many constraints, I've seen KRA giving 12 months, but that is upon negotiation, and we are able to negotiate that for our clients also, if they are having so many financial constraints. But if you don't respond on this letter, they will give you, most of the time, they give you 30 days if you did not respond. And if you get this letter, you can even get a call from them telling you we sent you this letter. But if you fully ignore everything, 30 days, they should issue an agency notice closing your bank account. So when they close your bank account, mostly I'll see that as a last resort. So they will expect that now you can be able to respond to them. So let's go to the migration of legacy data debt on iTax. I mentioned this the other time. So the legacy data prior to iTax system, prior to the iTax system, we had the legacy system. We had the manual recording. I don't know how many of us were doing audit and tax when the manual system was there. And then there was a system that was called Legacy before iTax came to be. That system had credits, it had debt, and right now this year, they were able to migrate that data from the legacy system to iTax system in our portals. And they are saying that we are supposed to give them information about those payments if you have documentation. So my feel to this is that the tax law says that KRA should not demand for taxes beyond 5 years, demand for records beyond 5 years, but this one is here, it's 10 years, actually 2014 is 10 years from 2024. But they are saying that you're supposed to give them information if you did those payments. And there are so many people I've seen, some are being demanded 30 million, 40 million, depending on the nature of your business at that particular point. So if you have documentation of that period, you can share with KRA that documentation so that they can clear those debts. So they are able to acknowledge bank statement, you align how you are able to do those payments, and they are going to accept that. So validate the migrated balances, address the outstanding debt, validate the VAT credit, provide documentation for adjustment. And KRA has stated that they are doing this until 31st December 2024. So we have a month, 2 months to handle these concerns. If you don't handle that concern, come January 2025, they'll start demanding for that money. So right now, that money is on your iTax portal, but they are not demanding it. They'll start demanding in January. So right now it's litigation. Why are you going to say, I saw these payments that I'm supposed to pay, but I don't have this payment and this is my documentation. I was still waiting for litigation on this case because I felt it was very punitive for them to be able to migrate this data iTax at this particular point, but we haven't seen it. So possibly come next year, we can see what happens on this. So how do you know that you have the legacy debt in iTax? So some of you have not checked your iTax to know if you have this data, if you have this area. So I'll show you how. And of course, because I'll be very fast, I'll share the notes with you if you register on the link. So open your iTax portal, go to General Ledgers. Show ledger, you can see the pointer there, and then you're going to see the data. You're going to see the data right there. So you can see there, legacy balance migration account VAT. There's that one that is showing 20,000. Yes, you can see and get us a full statement of how much. So if you check on your payment registration, you might miss them. But if you check here on the ledger, you're going to find them. So the luck is for the people who have documentation. You have found companies that have even their manual VAT records that is 15 years ago. So those were lucky because now we are able to solve the issues very fast. And if you have this issue, you can also talk to us. We can help you solve it. So that is on the legacy. Kindly look at, check your iTax portal, find if you have this information, solve it before 31st December 2024, because it will be demanded next year. If you're not in a capacity to do that, we can also help you solve the issue. So let's talk about eTeams client update. So eTeams, we've talked about eTeams every time, so many times. So at the moment, we're just teaching, showing you the updates that are happening on eTeams. Remember, we are also having the case for Finance Act 2023. That also had the eTeams on it. There are so many things that are happening on tax-wise, but eTeams client is having an updated version, and this version you're supposed to update the version that you're having. So if the eTeams client is the one that you downloaded on your laptop or the one that you bought the machine. Remember, eTeams, there's different versions. There is a eTeams client, there is a USSD, there is eTeams Lite, there is the online version, the offline. There are different versions. So this one, the client is the one that you downloaded on your laptop, if that is what you're using, or you bought the eTeams machine. So you're supposed to update the version to the new version. Of course, they say the new version is working much, much better. So this is how you do it. I'll also be fast. So you open the KRA portal. You can see the eTeams where I've circled. Install eTeams, eTeams payout point. You can see it there. Then you download it there. Then it's come to your Windows. Then you run it and then run. And then you have it there and you confirm. So just click on the portal. I'm going to share you the full everything, and then you can be able to walk through the procedure. So also, if you're not in a position to be able to hack it, you can also talk to us. So let's talk about KRA audits. Let's talk about KRA audit. Before I talk about KRA audits, let me ask a question. Have you received a letter from KRA? They have sent so many letters, notice of intention to verify tax declaration. I don't know which one you've received. Notice to return review under section 59 of tax procedures. Notice of intention to verify tax declarations, demand notice. Tell me which one you have received. Let me see on the chat as I look at your questions so that we can proceed and I can tell you what do you do when you receive this letter. So let me see your chat. Have you asked a question? So have you received the letter? Have you received the letter of audit? You can share there, yes or no. Just share there. James Momo is saying, share the presentation. James, kindly register on our form up there. Yes, demand notice. Cecilia says so. Just tell me so that I can know I'm talking to the right people. Yes, notice of verification. Thank you. So KRA have sent a lot of letters, a lot of letters. So don't receive a letter and you say, oh, my customer, oh, my competitor is looking at me. You know the way we start giving stories. So don't give those stories. KRA has sent so many letters from company to director, especially even directors. If you are a director and you did business income, you did not do pay as you earn return, you did business income. I don't know if you're having directors here. So I've seen so many letters even for individuals who did business income on their portal. They have also received so many letters. And these letters are cutting across from Bungoma to Kisumu to Mount Kenya, everywhere. And why are they doing these massive audits? The massive audits is because of collection. Remember the finance bill 2024 that was supposed to give them about 350 billion is no longer functional. So how do they collect the 350 billion? They are going to correct that money through audits. So why is audit being handled? Because these returns we do are self-assessment. You sit down and you do your VAT. You sit down and do your income tax, self-assessment. So KRA has a mandate to verify those returns. And that's why I say, especially for an organization that you're doing turnovers, make sure that that is being handled by somebody who understands. Because the moment you do a return that is not done properly, that acts as a biggest trigger for audit. And I'm going to talk about audit triggers Friday. Is it Friday? No, it's let me see on the calendar. It will be on 25th. Yes, 25th. I'll talk about audit triggers, audit process, come and learn and avoid some of those mistakes. But for now, the letters are out there, and this is how you should handle the issue. Let me show you. So KRA is conducting a comprehensive compliance checks to all taxpayers. So KRA, the tax laws empowers KRA to review tax returns for accuracy and determination of taxes paid. I said this, what we do every month and at the end of the year is self-assessment. So they should come back and be able to check back. This may be done through return review, comprehensive audit, investigation. I'll talk more about the whole process come that Friday. And this will cover different taxes, individual taxes, VAT, customs, pay, everything. So let me give an example. Let's look at the letter that I've shared. They are notice for intention to verify tax rate declaration. Of course, they will quote section 59 most of the time of TPA. So most of the time they would do 5 years. So if you check here, this January 2020 to August 2024, most likely this client was done, the audit was done for 2019, or so the moment, if for you they did it to 2022, they'll ask for 2023 and 2024. So the moment, and that's why I insist when you are under audit, you should get the final letter of audit so that it covers your previous period, so that there is no repetition. So since 2020, that is 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, those are about 5 years. So they requested different documentation according to the nature of the business. So for this one, they requested for pay, VAT. Most of the time, they will request for stamped audited report as the first one, bank statement, cash books. So for bank statement, cash book is to see the cash that is being collected and is not in the bank statement. They also ask for M-Pesa statement if it is different from the bank statement. Z reports, this is on the VAT. General ledgers, this is the software that you are using, the accounting software that you're using, QuickBooks or Zoho or anything. Then the entire general ledger, this is going to show the sales, the purchases, different expenses, the journal entries, the entire books. And most of the time, when it comes to general ledgers, I always find a lot of mistakes. So what we have declared in our books is totally different from what we have in our general ledgers. So if you just populate that general ledger and give KRA, they even raise more queries than before. So make sure that this general ledger align to what you had filed. They'll also ask you for a trial balance. And most of the time, we don't do general ledgers or ledgers reconciliation. So for me, for us, when we are doing audit, we also do reconciliation to make sure that the general ledgers are able to align with what is filed. So in case in future there is an audit, there is flawless of the information provided. So in this case, they also asked for a payroll. So this documentation varies from a company. Let's see this one. So this one, they even went ahead to check the income tax. Remember, when KRA is auditing you, they have checked the information you have provided. So you have provided the information on your VAT, pay, income tax. So they come to you at a point of knowledge. Also, they can get information from your customers, from your suppliers. So they have a lot of information about your company. So they first analyze that information before they check what you provide. So in this case, they have even declared the turnover that was declared by this customer, and they have also cited differences. When it comes to here, so let's see the issue claimed here. Purchases variances between VAT and income tax return. That as per the VAT return, this is the analysis per month. So this is year 2022. So January to 12 months to December, it was 22 million. But when the auditor came to file, they filed 41 million. So what was this that was added that was not on the VAT portal? So when you're having an auditor who does not understand how the monthly returns comes to the end of year return, then these are some of the mistakes they do. So you can see the 2023 year was able to align. So these are some of the information so for you, you have to even verify what is the 18 million and was this 18 million not vatable? So another letter. So for this one, notice of intention to verify January 2021 to December 2023, audited accounts, general ledgers, we've talked about that. Payroll, wages sheet. If you're having wages in your financial statements, wages 3 million, 5 million, whatever amount, you have to have the wages sheet. And I always talk about the wages sheet, that there's a name, there's a phone number, there's the ID number of the person and signatory. And have that when you're paying them possibly on a weekly basis, they have to sign somewhere. So those are the wages sheet that you're supposed to provide. Bank statement as a requirement, loan agreement or loan repayment schedule. If you have a loan in your bank statement, in your balance sheet, is also a trigger. Some of us use loan balances as a balancing figure. the auditor just says, no, we are having a balance, let's do a loan balance as a balancing figure. That's a trigger. The moment you be requested for a bank or for a loan statement and you don't even have that loan, then it shows there is an under declaration somewhere. That's why the balance sheet is not balancing. So those are some of the information. So what should you do? Already you're having this letter. What should you do? So for you who is having arrears on the system, you get a demand notice. So demand notice comes in when you are having arrears on your iTax portal. So for these others, they might not be having arrears, but if you're having arrears right now, especially right now, KRA have sent these letters demanding this money within 7 days. So we said when they demand this money within 7 days, of course, you don't have this cash flow, respond. Within those 7 days, respond, tell them I don't have this money, but this is a payment plan that I wish to pay, and this is the first installment. So that is how you respond. If you don't respond, I said within 30 days, they are going to issue an agency notice, and they don't issue an agency notice to your email, they issue to the bank. So one day you wake up and you want to pay salaries and your bank is closed. So for my client, when we get a demand notice, we respond immediately. So there are people who tell me, I cannot respond because I don't have this money. I cannot even do a payment plan because I don't even have the first installment. So for that one, you have to consider, because the next one is going to have a bank account closed. So will you allow that to happen? So that is demand. So this could be an assessment that was done earlier, or could be the self-assessment. Some of us are suffering from cash flow issues, so you keep piling. And this is my advice. If you're doing VAT, you're doing payroll, pay as you earn, and you don't pay them on time, because I've also seen that, because you're doing pay 100,000, 200, 300 on a monthly basis, but you don't have the cash flows. For me, this is one of the indicators that your organization is going through a crisis, for sure, and that's the truth. So if you do this, you're doing a VAT, mostly for VAT, VAT is on selling. So you cannot say that I keep piling VAT and I'm not selling, because VAT is on sale, is on purchases and sales. So you are selling. That's why you're having those pay VATs to pay. So don't pay for any other things and then you don't pay for your VAT. That is that is not a very good sign. But now for payroll, you find organizations, they are no longer selling. They're actually not selling at all. But they're having employees within the organization and they keep doing pay. So they do pay and they pay all that money on their iTax portal and they don't pay for that. So if you do 6 months filing without payment, that's a trigger that the organization is going through a crisis. What do you do? For me, I encourage you, start reducing the amounts and even start paying zero. At the end of the day, you're going to pile money in the iTax portal, 5 million, 6 million a full year. And one day you'll never be able even to pay for that money. So if you stay 3 months, 4 months, you're just piling the money, it's very good to reconsider and accept. Most of the time, we don't accept that our organization are going through a crisis. And I find most of my clients and I don't say you admit, because most of the time we don't want to admit the fact that we are going through trouble. So we keep hoping that next month will be better. Yet, so next month we still pile our tax on our portal. Then the other month, 6 months, 7 months, you're still piling. By the time you're 6, 7 months, just come to a realization that now we are heading in the wrong direction. You can lower the amounts and you can even file zero. For me, I say, I rather go to KRA, talk about payee that is not filed than payee that is in arrears. for over a year, because that money you have to pay. And remember, this money is piling penalties on a monthly basis. And 2023, 2024, you don't pay for your penalties. You have to pay for your penalties and interest. There's no amnesty for that. I hope I was clear on that. And those are some of the advices that you give, so for you who is having the letter, what do? Review the notice. So give me 10 minutes to finalize so that I can answer your questions. So for you who is having this letter, review the notice carefully. And also monitor the timings. If you check here, they have told you provide the records before 1st October 2024. The other one has, they have to specify the time. So take note of that period of time. Is very, very important. Seek professional advice. This is very important. Seek us. Because when it comes to KRA tax issues, you might think you don't have an issue, but by the time you go for second, third meeting, you're having so many issues that you cannot be able to handle. It's not just giving this bank statement and what is there, but for us, we are able to see the information beyond what you're having here. So for us, we are able to align. We do a risk assessment prior to the documentation. We gather the documentation, we check it, we see what will be the tax risk, we fill the gaps before we share that information to just make sure that you're able to win your case. Because for you, winning that case is on documentation. So some of you don't have incomplete records. Some of you, when I ask you for invoices and purchases, you don't even have them. Bank statements, most of you have bank statement because you're banking, but the rest of the information you don't have. At the moment you don't have those documentation put together, are aligned very well, you start losing on the case. So gather required documentation, and this is the places where we help you. We can even come to your organization and help you gather the information required. Remember, this information is for 5 years. Most of the time you find it for 5 years. So you need a lot of manpower to put the information correctly and align it properly before you provide that information. Understand past filings. So this one we are able to understand. We able to understand the past filing, the mistakes that were done. We can do amendment prior. We can be able to help you do that. Timely submission. I said take note of the time. If you're not able to provide information within the 7 days or 14 days, for us, we are able to request for more time, or we share documentation as we move on. We can share a few documentation this week. The next week, we share other documentation. So, and we are able to negotiate with KRA on that. Confirmation of receipt after submission, you can confirm the information was provided. KRA review, this is our big point. This is where we review that information with KRA. Remember, for me, I've sat down and I've understood the gaps that are there, their analysis, everything, and I've tried all I could to seal all areas. So when KRA is reviewing and they are saying, oh, this was done, I have information already to tell them this was done because of A, B, C, D, because I have the background of the whole company and how you do your business and where the gaps are. Possible follow-ups. We also do a lot of follow-ups on the cases to make sure that they are completed on time. And we make sure that you get a fair assessment. There are areas where we just go and we just complete the case without taxes. That is the ideal position. But if the ideal position is there, we make sure that the taxes raised are very minimal. Assessment notification. After completing the review, KRA should issue findings. And the findings, for us, we make them acceptable. Because objection and dispute is very expensive, you have the right to object. You know, KRA can give you a demand. Even new now, Possibly some of you have been given findings and even assessment done on your portal. You have a right to object. So the objection process is also very cumbersome. And if you're at a point of objection, we can also come in and help you through the objection period. So we can also do, you have the right to object and we can help you. When we do objection within 30 days, KRA should respond within 60 days. So it is a very quick process. For audit period, for audit process, it can take 3 months, 6 months, a full year, depending on the nature of the company. And for us, when we come in, we make it flawless and we make it faster because tax issues are very stressful to an organization. So the more you're able to handle an issue quickly, the better for the organization to be able to complete the entire process. So the objection is very fast. So we have to prepare documentation quite fast because it is systemized. Within 45 days, KRA respond to you. They either agree or disagree. Then you go to the tribunal. We go to the ADR, the other process, and they are very cumbersome. There's a lot of documentation provided. We also help you through that process. So for me, when I check the return, when I check KRA, what they are demanding, there are some clients who come to us and KRA is demanding 50 million, 100 million, 500, even a billion. KRA can demand everything. They can even demand the money worth the whole entire organization. You know, some of you get those demands, they are 50 million and they're like, even if I sell this company, sell the assets, I cannot even pay this money. So when we start off at that particular point, I can advise, depending on the case, on the nature of litigation that you're going to follow. So there are cases that I'll check and I'll tell you, for this one, we'll do KRA process, we'll do the audit process, and then you're going to object. So don't worry about the process, it will take a year but it will come to an end. So there are cases that are better solved at the tribunal level and at the ADR level. Because when we go to the alternative dispute resolution, it's not technical to the law, it is according to how you are able to argue your case. So we can go to a point where we look at the issues raised, the issues that are being solved at the station level, we solve them. The issue that we can solve at the objection level, we solve them there. But the issues that have to be pushed to the alternative dispute resolution, we push them until there so that we can win the case. So it's a whole entire process. And sometimes you find a case that was being demanded 100 million. When you go all the way to the ADR, you get there to 5 million to 10 million amount that are payable now to the client. But these processes are very cumbersome and they can stress you even out of the business. So this is where we come in and we help you do the entire process. And also, if you received this letter, you don't also have to go to this level. You can get the audit at that particular level, at the station level, and complete. That is the ideal position. So that is the ideal position, and we can help you do that. There are people who say, I received this letter and I'm going through a crisis, so I'll not solve this letter, I'll assume it. So what is the pros and cons of assuming that letter? First of all, if KRA keep asking you and you don't respond, one day they can issue an assessment. They can issue something we call default assessment. Default assessment is an assessment. They have not assessed any documentation. They have just checked their system and issued a default. According to their understanding, they can issue a default assessment. And when you find it on your iTax portal, you respond now on objection. And remember, by the time KRA assessed you on iTax and they do that amount, 5 million, 10 million on your iTax portal, that is a very risky position. By the time that 10 million, you remove it and it comes to 500,000 or a million, is a very long process. So don't wait until you cannot agree and one day they just put the money on your iTax portal. It will be harder for you to solve that issue. So handle the issue right there and completely. There are other people who say that because this is Kenya, I'm going to canvass. And I know that we understand that, and this process stops and we continue working. When you stop an audit process through canvassing, first of all, it's like taking Panadol when you're having, what do I say? It's like taking Panadol when you're having a stomach problem. You should go through surgery, but because you know that you don't want, you keep taking Panadols. Come next year, there'll still be an issue. And if the advantage of going through audit is that you're able to close. So if the organization is audited for the past 5 years, you close the case. Nobody is going to ask you for that period. But now, and you also you learn mistakes, you learn what you've not been doing right. Some of you are doing taxation mistakes. You understand at that particular point, you solve the issues. So if you don't do that, the next few times you continue repeating the mistakes. And remember, your business is also growing. So you're also growing in turnover. So the moment someone who come, and these accounts managers keep changing, the moment one day they will hit on your account, on your organization, they will charge you so much money on issues that you could have sold long time ago. I hope I'm clear on that. So this is the other trends. This is the final one. M-Pesa pay bill to become KRA tax registers. So this is a debate that is there. It has always been there about our M-Pesa pay bills and till numbers. And I remember some of us when KRA was moving around. I don't know if they're still moving. You can tell me on the chat if you've seen them of late. There was a litigation that the appointment of tax, they were called tax service officers. Yeah, the one that were coming round, that their appointment was not done right. So I guess it stopped a bit. So most of the time when they came to your organization, they were looking for the pay bill numbers. And of course, when you're going through audit, KRA will ask you, we want to see the account that has pay bills and till numbers. So when it comes to bank statement, till numbers, pay bill, there is the confidentiality part when it comes to the providers, that is the banks. But during audit, KRA request for bank statement, they will ask you for this M-Pesa pay bill and the till numbers. Of course, they will audit them at that particular point. So then now is that the KRA can be able to view all your pay bills, view all your till numbers at real-time basis. We are not yet there. And I don't think that we're going to be there anytime soon, because I believe when that comes in, there's a lot of litigation, because when it comes to money entry to your account, there's confidentiality code that the bank should be able to do that. So this is a conversation that's still ongoing. I guess that is the final section. I've talked so much on audit. So let me look at your chart. Let me look at your chart. Ask a question right now. I'm working an NGO. To be specific, what are possible risks? For NGOs, they are exempted from income tax, VAT, but for payroll. So are you having staff within the organization? And by the way, next week on Wednesday, that is 17th, come. We'll be training about taxation for NGO organizations. So come and learn, and you're going to see them. So yeah, I'm going to share the slide. If you if you register on the registration link, Kevin is asking, when KRA asks for general ledger, should you give them a detailed Excel of all your ledgers? Yes, that's what they are looking for. That's what you're looking for. But before you share, you make sure that it's aligning with what the audit report. So the moment if your fuel cost was 3 million, you have to go to the ledger and find out the fuel is 3 million. When they see the ledger, what do? They check those entries and they can tell you, we want to see this receipt and this and this and this. So they will ask you for different receipts to just verify. So that is so make sure you do ledger reconciliation before you share. And if you're overwhelmed with that, you can give us the work, we can be able to do that. Is eTeams client update mandatory? Yes, it is. It is very fast to be able to, it helps you function much better. It's like when you're doing VAT versions, you know, the VAT and the payee, when you're filing them, they are different versions. So if you downloaded a version and then they put a new version, when you come to filing, you find that the version you're having is not compatible. Kindly share, okay. Non-salaried personnel is not clear. So I will share for sure. This is they said that they are supposed to pay 300, but they are going to assess your income levels. Remember, the 2.75% does not have a capping. So you could be doing your personal business and you're even earning way, way more better than somebody who is getting 50,000 as a payee. So I don't know how they're going to do that. We're going to see, and of course I'm going to share here when they are aligned what they will be doing. But at the moment, pay the 300 for it. But they said they want to make sure that is equal. Do you think that okay, these are good one. Do you think with 2024 audits, the expenses not supported by eTeams received will be disallowed? So there are so many issues that have come with eTeams. Of course, this was one of the bills that was put last year where they said this year we have to use eTeams both on our sales and on our purchases. We've had so many cases, tax cases on Finance Bill and Finance Act. So at the moment, I'm 50-50 that they are going to disallow the receipt. But for me, I would advise make sure as much as you can support your receipts of purchases and expenses if you receive with eTeams, much better. So still push yourself to have your purchases eTeams compliant and your expenses receipt being eTeams compliant. So for that one, I'm 50-50, just push yourself to make sure that you have eTeams. Please advise on affordable housing levy for landlords. How are we supposed to deduct and generate the easily for this when filing MRI? This is something that I've shared before. This is something that I've shared before here. I guess we have stayed for some time without sharing it more. We even showed you how to do it on iTax portal. If you don't have pay, there's a way you're going to do it as an agency levy. So you're going to do 1.5% of the gross rent, 1.5% on the gross rent. Remember, the monthly MRI is 7.5%. Then you do the affordable housing levy at 1.5% of the gross rent. And they are filed differently at different times. Remember, affordable housing levy is by 9th October and the MRI is by 20th. So make sure you do them both. And I stated here, if this year you've done MRI, and you did not do affordable housing levy, come next year because it is tagged on the gross rent. How you did your MRI, they'll pick those per month and multiply by 1.5% and send you a demand, of course, with penalties and interest. So it's a must. If you're doing MRI, you have to do the affordable housing levy. So that was a good question. I have a demand of 3 million. You can talk to us, Dennis. We can help you. So what happens if the ledgers, what should I do? Should I remove? And so for some of these questions, you can, there's a calendar booking. My co-host kindly share calendar booking. Just book a calendar booking, is free of charge. We can have that conversation with you. It's a more personalized conversation. Just call. Just book it and then we can have it. Has the submission of on their portal been clarified yet? My co-host, you can answer that. I think this month we are still doing under NHIF. My co-host, kindly. In case of a group of account, the expenses are paid by the holding company and the e-team is compliant with the holding PIN, but it is distributed among subsidiaries. What will happen to the subsidiary to the expense that are allowable? This is complex, my dear. Make sure that why don't you receive your money as petty cash or let them get the expenses directly to your PIN, because this will pose a problem. This will definitely pose a problem. Or if you're having a holding company, why don't you have that holding company being the same PIN that is used in your company and the other company? So you can merge your organization is to one. That the same way we do like a supermarket, it has 10 branches, all of them under one PIN. That can work. And if you're having different organization, then the organization can have their operational names, but the PIN is the same. But for you, we're doing a different PIN, there's a subsidiary, a different PIN, then the expenses, no, that one will bring complexity when it comes to taxes, and they are going to disallow them. If they're not in the PIN of that company, the expenses, they are going to disallow them. In case where an organization has rental as investment, how do you pay the affordable housing levy? So if you're on a company and you're having rentals, this is the residential properties. MRI is on residential property. Of course, you're doing the MRI under the company name. When you're doing the MRI there, you also do the affordable housing levy there with in the company PIN. So still there's no problem. And you can have the affordable housing levy for the house, for the residential property, and you can also have the affordable housing levy for your employees. You can still, you can have both. What if you don't have records for migrated balances? If you don't have Mohammed, I think you have a bank statement. Go request a bank statement from the bank. If you paid via bank, and cycle those payments. With just having a bank statement, KRA can accept those payments that you did the payment. So if you don't, because there were people who are paying cash, it's difficult. Do you have an audit report that you can show I did not have issues? So For sure, the legacy balances is having so many issues. But if you can request a bank statement from the bank if you paid through the bank and signal those payments. And then you can take to KRA and reconcile. I guess I've answered most of your questions. You can keep asking them. Mohammed is saying they are cash payments. My goodness. So okay, so I don't forget, Sha, when registering employees, they ask for gross salary. What happens over time? Applied, not constant every month, is it? Okay, so for me, I would just say stick to the permanent gross salary for now. Because the rest they will be varying very so much. Just stick to the gross salary for now until we also see the other new regulations that they are having. So someone is okay, the SHA employee, okay. Registration I shared before. So I'll share the notes and you're going to see how the registration is working. So before we close, I would want to, for you who is new, I would want you to know about us. So we are RWK and Associates. We do these trainings on a monthly basis. This is why you learn so much about taxes, income, bookkeeping, audits. Just come and learn. So on 25th, that we shall be learning about tax dispute and resolution. I'll talk more about audits. On 16th, that is next week, we'll talk about taxation of NGO organization. Just come and learn. So we also have a CEO breakfast meeting. This is a physical meeting, but you have to apply for it. So or you can, if you're really interested, or you can invite, if you had, and you can invite your CEO. This we are targeting business owners of a business. We have a capping of this, how it looks like. You can do a photo and you can call us. If you have mostly turnovers of 20 million and above, we would want to invite your CEO. And it's a physical meeting to be on 22nd, is actually on 22nd, not on 24th. 22nd on Tuesday. I apologize for that. And you can invite them. So you can call us. We're going to share you this for you to share with and an invitation letter. So you can come and learn. We're also having a taxation masterclass. So for you who wants to learn more on taxation, we are having a taxation masterclass starting Monday, 14th to 25th. This 10 days comprehensive online tax training. We do it in the evening from 7 to 9. Very, very practical, very good. And we're going to give you a certificate and you're going to get your CPD hours. And because this is what we do on a daily basis, we are able to make it simple and very practical. So we'll talk from VAT to income tax to every tax in Kenya, and very practical. We open iTax, we do it together, and we give you practical. It's very, very practical and very, very good. So if this is a line that you'd want to enhance, you can come 20,000. But today I was given a customer service week offer with a 10% discount. So if you pay today, you're going to get a 10% discount. 10%. This is a customer service. So 10 is 18,000. and you can pay 10,000 as an installment. The rest you pay during the course of the training. Also, if you're having 3 of you in an organization, you're 3, you can come and learn at 15,000. So there's an offer for 3 and above, 15,000 each. So karibuni sana. We've got so many success stories. I didn't put them here on the previous people who've been able to learn. So come and learn. There's something interesting that I wanted to show you today, and I'll be sharing about it in the next webinars. We have an accounting software. We are calling, this is the first time that I'm talking about it, my Accurate Books. So we have an accounting software that is going to solve all your accounting work, and it is very simplified, especially for SMEs and micro SMEs. So you can go Google My Accurate Books. It's on the website, and you're going to see it there. We are having a web version, an application, and an application version. You're going to download it on your phone, and you can use it. So in the coming days, I'm going to demonstrate about it and how you're supposed to input data, sell with it, and it is extremely efficient. It's extremely efficient. And I'm going to give a lot of stories about it. So just keep here. We are very excited about it. It's our own innovation, and we have people who've been doing this with us. And we want to handle this. This idea came in, we've been doing a CSR program. If you're able to follow us and follow us online, you're able to see our CSR program. It's called Skill and Mentorship Program, where we help people get ideas to do business. So we've done this for 3 years, and actually we're going to do a big launch on it next month. I'll share the details on the next week about it. And when we started training people, the community around us, to help them do business, we realized that they were doing their business, and we put them in an incubation center where we went ahead to train them on different ways to grow their business. So on how to do marketing, customer service, social media marketing, and just grow their business, financial management. When I was doing bookkeeping, helping them do bookkeeping, I realized that they were struggling to do manual recording. So I went out to say, I'm going to look for a software fit for you, because QuickBooks, Zoho, they are very complex. They are well understood by an accountant. So the team could not be able to handle them. So we went and we couldn't find a software that was fit for somebody who doesn't have an accounting background. So my Accurate Books came in, and that is why we are launching it. We'll be launching it next month. And for people who are using it, they have given us a lot of success stories. So at the moment, it's free of charge. Go ahead, download it, and use it before we start charging. And use it to sell, use it to monitor your sales, to look at your expenses. It is a very effective system, and you don't have to have knowledge of accounting to be able to use it. So you can talk to us when it comes to tax health check. We are having an offer to do a tax health check for 10,000. Audit services, taxation services, bookkeeping services, internal controls. You can talk to us, and our numbers are right there on the chat. The 0728-897-429, or else you can do a calendar booking on the chat, and somebody will talk to you, and we can see how we can be able to work with you. So asanteni sana. Thank you so much for being together with me. I've taken more time than was expected, but I've loved your company. Francis, wow, that is a great achievement. Congratulations, asante sana, Francis. Thank you so much. You can go ahead and interact with my accurate books. You love it. You're going to love it. And it's going to really organize your books. Asanteni sana. Is there a relief on SHIF? Not yet. We've not seen it. NHIF had. How do you onboard? Yes, yes, we have plans to make it an ERP. So we will be having different versions on it, and we're even going to have a version that has eTeams connected to it. Some of you want a software that has eTeams on it. We're going to have that version. At the moment, the version that is there is a point of sale and an accounting software. The point of sale is free of charge. The other one that has everything is paid, but at the moment, we're just giving out for free. Just come on board and use it. So you Google My Accurate Books. We have a website. On the website, you're going to see Start Here, Get Started, and also there's a Google Play says download. Just download it. You can download it from there. We're going to have the recording on YouTube. Thank you for the one who is asking. You can go on YouTube, RWK Associates. You're going to see us there, and you're going to place the recording there. So for you who wants the note, register on the link provided. For you who want to talk to us, you can do a calendar booking or you can get our number. With that, I say thank you so much. Let's meet next week on Wednesday on NGOs. Tell a friend who has an NGO. And on 25th, come and learn more about taxation, tax disputes. How do you dispute? What are your rights? And how can you go about it? So, asanteni sana. I wish you a very happy Friday and enjoy yourselves.
labda stima inapotea. Kuna finance.